Okay, welcome guys to today's AMA session about NFT Butler version 2. We have been coding all day and night for the last few weeks, and we are gonna present you what the new version brings and what's going to be released in a few hours. If you have questions, just let me know in the voice chat directly by voice or in the chat. I have it open on my side. So I hope everyone can see my screen of the new NFT Butler version. We are at version 2.02 now, which will be released after this AMA, and we have a bunch of new features to go through. Sorry, let me just bring up what I need as a reminder here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so first things first, we have enhanced the collection search engine with a lot of new features. So let's have a look at the collection search engine. So as you can see, we have some new buttons here enabled. I think in the last version, we did only have the stats button, which is basically displaying the floor price graphic of every collection. This is still the same. And this top bits below here, we are still waiting for the data from OpenSea to display the current active bids on each collection. So this is still work in progress and we are dependent on OpenSea. But we can now sort collections. That's something new. So we can decide if we want to sort them descending or ascending. And we have new filtering options, number of sales. I think that's one is new. Then we do now have two new buttons here, and we will first have a look at the token bid button. So let's say I want to bid on, let's take Adams, just because I'm always talking about Adams.
Fucking game changer.
Yes. So we want to start the token bidding task on this collection. So this form will already load all the background information about this collection, and you can now filter your target assets by various filtering options. So you can say if you want to include minted assets or not. You can filter the assets by rarity. So you can say I want to have the top 1000 tokens or the lowest 1000 tokens, or you can also say I want to have rank 1000 to 2000, whatever. You can also say I want to filter assets by listing price, so only assets which are listed maybe below 0.5 ETH. You can filter assets by the last sales price, so this takes into consideration what was, the last time this asset was sold, what was the price, and you can again filter by minimum or maximum price. And this filter will obviously exclude minted tokens, which were never sold, because there needs to be a sales price available if you filter for those. And this one here is actually my most favorite filter. So you can target assets by their best trade floor price. So if you put 0.8 ETH, for example, here, you will actually target all the assets in this collection which have at least one trade with a trade floor price of 0.8 ETH. So all these new options here, they come down to risk management basically. So in the past few weeks, I was bidding on entire collections. I was getting bids accepted, but sometimes I just get the worst NFTs, which take ages to sell. So with this filtering options, you can now say, okay, let me target only half of the entire collection and the more valuable ones. And you will be able to sell them much easier, since if you list them around floor price or even a bit above, they will sell rather quickly. Libior just sent a question. Will this refresh with each loop? Yes. You will see that in a minute. So all these filtering options, they will be stored in the task, and whenever the task looping starts, it will basically pull the token IDs from what you have entered here in the filters. So last filter here, we also have minimum holding days. So this is maybe an interesting filter if you combine it with the last sales price. So maybe you want to only target assets which were sold for 1 ETH, which is also a rarity or a good indicator. And then you can combine it, but maximum holding days 30 days. So you now target only assets which were sold in the last 30 days with a minimum price of 1 ETH. And since I thought, okay, I have coded all this, I have, I'm sure this works, but I thought, okay, for most of the people, this is going to be a black box, so we need to have an asset preview, and that's what we coded here in this release as well. So we can now show the token selection, and it will basically give you a preview of all your filters, what assets you're about to target with this task at this point in time, right? I mean, the filter will always update when the task is starting. But at this point in time, I would now only target 22 assets because I target assets which were sold in the last 30 days, at least for 1 ETH, and the best trade floor price needs to be 0.8. So we do not target a lot of assets with this one. But we can go back and we can change the filter. So let's change it like that and maybe only filter for a trade floor price of 0.8 ETH. And let's have a look at the token selection again. You will have to bring a little bit of time if this one is loading here, since we are pulling all this data live from our database. And for some collections, it also works for OrderDeed. We need to scan, hundreds of thousands of tokens and all their trades and trade floor price. So it takes a few seconds to load this, but it's performing not too bad. It's performing well, I think, for the amount of data. Okay, so now I target 11,000 tokens of 25,000. We have integrated paging here, so you can run through those pages to check if you like the selection. We also added 10 pages skipping, to if you sort them by. You can actually sort by different criteria as well. So by default, it's basically sorting by rarity score. The rarity score is calculated on our own in our database, so we can index any collection. If you're missing one of the collection in the collection search engine, just let us know. And this is really a very basic rarity score. It basically just calculates each trade's rarity and then sums up those trades into this rarity score. So, and you can filter those preview assets by last sales price, by listing price, by trade floor price, and by token ID. And same thing here, you can sort it in both directions just to get, to get an understanding of what tokens you're actually targeting. I like to filter by trade floor price and then ascending. So I basically get the least valuable first, because that's where you put your line of risk, right? And that's what you want to check. If any of these look very bad or boring, then maybe I need to increase my top trade floor price filter because I want to filter those out here. Let me have a look at the chat quickly. What happens if OS API crashes before a while? So all this data is retrieved from our database. We are not dependent on OpenSea API anymore, but we have basically coded a bunch of microservices which are always pulling the data from OpenSea. We are currently indexing about 300 collections and 3 million assets, and with our microservices, we do not have older data points than 15 minutes in our database. So worst case would be, maybe we didn't index the latest sale of this token ID, but we are never older than 15 minutes behind current market. And we do this basically by, we scan all the collection and assets like every few days. It takes days to scan all the 3 million NFTs. But we have some microservices out there which are basically monitoring all the sales and listings events on OpenSea and will just punctual update all those changes. And this is how we make the data pretty much up to date all the time to make sure we can work with this live data and we are not dependent on the OpenSea API performance for all this. Okay, so back to task. Now, and if you didn't notice, all these filters are end conditions, right? So we are basically filtering now on top of the collection, and we are combining all those filters to, to decide what assets we want to bid on. So since we had, I think, 11,000 tokens selected with this filter, yes, roughly 11,000, I can now also say from those 11,000 with a minimum trade floor of 0.8 ETH, I now want to target the top 5,000 rarity score tokens. So now we actually filter down those 11,000 to 5,000 to the 5,000 rarest. So you can play with those filters and apply them to your risk level. Okay, so this is the first screen. This is basically, all this screen is really, instead of putting token IDs comma separated into the input field, we now have this filtering option, which will be dynamically applied to a task when it starts. And then we go one step further, and now we actually configure our bidding task. This is the same form as before, just a little bit rearranged. So we give it a name. Live AMA task. All this, collection data is already pre-filled. You cannot change it since we are working with the collection search engine. You can choose your wallet, which should be used for bidding, and you will have all the same options as before. So here now I usually use something like 20% below the floor price to 10% below the floor price. I usually also use the hard cap bid price to make sure my bids are never going to exceed a certain threshold. We have outbidding steps in 1%, and we are targeting now 5,000, I think. So let's put 4 hours validity, enable looping forever. And you can, at this point, you can also, go back and change something. It will basically carry over all your changes here, and you can create your task. If the hard cap bid price is higher than the floor price, you will get this warning. And we have a new task created here. So we can see now the token config is not configurable anymore, but you will see the indication this is a dynamic filter task. We have also added some icons here to show this is a filter task and not a manual task. You still have the options for manual tasks, especially if you're bidding on collections like ENS. You will still use this one here. We were first thinking about removing it, but it will stay here. Maybe we make it collapse, but for now it's just here. You can also go back anytime and edit this task. So you will see again what is your configuration for your filter. You can show the preview of the assets again. You can change all your settings. Here we also integrated some small improvements, like you can actually now change the name of your task if you're editing and you won't get an error message. So you can change the name. You can also copy. So all the actions which were available for the normal tasks are now also available for the token bidding tasks. I need to stop some of my tasks here just to showcase this. Maybe also at this point, very important, NFT Butler right now runs the most stable with the most throughput if you run 3 tasks in parallel only, because OpenSea has started to rate limit earlier. So right now, my best results are with about 3,500 bits per hour. And we have also integrated the settings here which will basically let you define the maximum number of running token bidding tasks. And I've put it to 3 to make sure only 3 slots are available. Oh, I should update this one here. Yes, I didn't do that, but we have 3 slots now. If they are captured, if a task finishes, it will pick one from the queue as usual. And let's start this task. So you will notice if you start a dynamic filter task the first time, or also when it refreshes and starts over again, it will take a little bit of time since it needs to retrieve all those assets. And it will then start indexing those. So here we are using the top 5,000. That's basically what we configured here of all the trades with a minimum floor price of 0.8 ETH. And whenever this task finishes to the end and starts over again, it will reapply the filter, as already discussed. You can also at any point, you can, if it didn't run for weeks or days and you want to make sure it's filtering the current assets by its configuration again, you can at any point you can stop it. It will reset it and then start it from scratch, and it will basically pull the asset data again from the current point in time. Cool. Let me actually stop this one because I want to run my other task. I didn't run a lot of bidding tasks for the last few days because I was running the development version of NFT Butler, so I need to catch up now with bits. Okay, let's have a look at the next feature. So this is token bidding tasks on collection level, but we do also have trades views. So if we hit the trade view of a collection, we are now actually zooming into this collection and we get a box for every trade value pair basically. So on all of these boxes, you will basically see, okay, this is background Jasper. We do have 47 items. The current floor price of this trade is 0.269 ETH. 19 assets of this with this trade value pair were sold in the last 7 days. This was the average price. 46 are listed. The royalties come from the collection, and highest bid and profit margin is currently not available since we are still waiting for OpenSea to provide this data. When you change the filtering options here on trade level, you will also update this one here. So basically the 30-day sales and the average price is always the same as your filtering options here. And you can now search for trades within the collection. And these trades are basically like a sub-collection to us. To us, it's just a pool of assets defined by its trades. So let's say, let me have a look. So the collection floor price is 0.25 ETH. So let's say we want to have trades with at least 0.4. And we want to have, and now, some of these trades, they do only hold very little items, right? So you want, depending on the collection, of course, but, first I tried, okay, now let's filter for trades which were at least sold 50 times in the last 30 days, but you won't find a lot of these, especially if you're filtering for rare trades. So here you need to be a little bit careful, and let's filter for trades which were actually traded. So there is trading going on, at least 5 in the last 30 days. Yeah, and this is what you get. You get your trade preview. You can again filter for floor price, minimum and maximum, sold items, and average price. Some collections do have various smart contract addresses, and we need to filter those here. I will talk about this in a minute. Let's first have a look at the statistics. So now we do also hold floor price statistics for every trade. So this is really about assets with this trade were traded and what was the floor price of this trade. This is also data which is not available on OpenSea or anywhere else. We basically calculate this data while scanning the collection, and whenever we record a change on a collection, like an asset was sold or listed, we will also update all this data for every trade. This is part of our microservice which will scan all the assets all the time and monitor the events. So you get this floor price graph for each trade, and you will also get a preview of the last sales. So especially when I'm browsing through the trades, I usually always have a quick look at the stats just to see what was a. So here on this trade we see, okay, the trade floor price is at 0.45 ETH, but when I look at the sales history, I see, okay, this trade was actually traded a lot of the time below this floor price in the last, few days. So this will make me hesitant on bidding on this trade. But on this one, it's going to be the same. Okay, so this one really gives me an idea what can I calculate with if I want to sell an asset with this trade quickly. And it's of course not 100% reliable. You don't know if this asset here did have another more valuable trade. It's just a first indication. Most of all, this data is also linked, so you can click on the asset and you will get linked to OpenSea to the asset, and you can click on floor price and those pictures and all that kind of stuff. Also here you will get basically a short preview of the collection itself. So what is the floor price, what is the supply, what is the 7-day sales of the collection, but you will also get a short preview of the trade stats. So supply, floor price, 7-day sales, and average price, just the most important. Okay, and now we can create a token bidding task on top of a trade as well. So you will have the same filtering options apart from the trade floor price, because this is basically defined by the trade itself. You can now, usually I don't filter too much since you're already reducing the number of assets to a small sub collection, but you can now filter, of course, by other filters. So you can say I only want to filter by people who are holding it, or listing price. Let's say listing price, last sales price at least 1 ETH. Let's see how much do we have. Still 266. So this will exclude minted tokens and just filter for last sales price. And from here on, it's the same story. So you can go next. You can create a task on top of this trade. And a very recent request from Bona was also, let's also implement multi-trade selection. So we did that yesterday night, I think, or the day before. So you can now also select multiple trades. If you want to unselect them, just resort the whole thing. It will make them unselect. This was all last minute feature integration, and our UI designer is currently in holidays. So I tried my best to make it look pretty, but we might still change some things to make it even more pretty. But for now, we can select boxes like this, and you will see how many trades are selected in the trade filter here. And you can then go, okay, I want to bid on all these trades. Here again, I had no idea how to, preview all the selected trades, so I just went with my gut feeling. You can now collapse and make it smaller to see all the different trade stats. It will make the form look a little bit silly, but you can at least have a look if you want to see if you want to see all the stats of the selected trades. And now you're actually creating a task with all these filtering options on top of all these selected trades. You can do the same stuff, filtering, and you can show the asset selection here. Again, here the same thing, you can expand and collapse. And you're now bidding on 1,000 tokens with all these 6 trades included. Yeah, we also have different filtering, sorting options here. And let me have a look at the chat. So, Leibior, suggestion, rarity score as percentage instead of exact number in filter. So you mean like the top 20, right? Yeah, I thought about it. Yeah, makes sense. So maybe instead of, yeah, maybe we can also put this. I mean, the filter is not too hard. I'm always struggling with the UI, so I'm really looking forward when our designer and UI expert comes back from holidays, right? But yeah, it makes sense. So we can actually filter by rank, or we can say.
I love what you did here with the rarity score range. I know exactly what what did Rarity when you wrote that, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm also happy when designer is back.
Exactly. Okay, and another question from Livy or a suggestion: absolute min-max price past 30 days, as sometimes trade floor prices can be inflated due to other trades and averages don't reflect that. Absolute min-max price past 30 days. Can you elaborate on that one? Yes. Okay. Max average price. Okay, let me continue. I will get back to you on this one. Okay, so we have all these filtering options on top of a trade, on top of multiple trades. If you do it on multiple trades and you create a task on it, let's just create a quick one. We are bidding 0.2 with a validity of 4 hours and we are looping. So this green dot here represents there is a new task waiting for you. So here on this task, you will basically see, okay, this is a trade task here by this icon and a token filter task, so a dynamic filter task. And here you basically just get the, how many trades are selected. And you can edit, of course, you will still have all the trades selected. You can change all your filters. If you're creating a task on one trade only, it will actually state what trade is currently being selected. So let's go here. Test. We're bidding with this price for 4 hours. Okay, so now we are bidding on one trade, so we can actually state here what are you bidding at. Where here it's a little bit hard to put the label. Yes, so this is all the major feature updates. We do also have a lot of small community requests implemented and bug fixes. So one is basically this, we have improved the paging as already shown. So I can show it also in view log. 1 second. Now I'm displaying all the assets without any filter, which will basically take some time. but it shouldn't take longer, like 20 to 30 seconds, even if used on a very large collection. Yeah, so we have these additional paging options where we can hop 10 pages. You will get the same options on view log as well. So if you want to see what was the first bit completed on this task, you can now hop in a few clicks at least to the last one, and you will get an idea when your first bit is gonna expire. Then we also had a bug reported by Bona where the fixed, so this hard cap bid price wasn't working if there is no other bid on a token. I checked the code and this was really a fact. Yeah, only if there is at least one bid available on an asset, the hard cap bid price was taken into consideration, and we have fixed that to make sure the hard cap bid price is always taken into consideration. Then we had a funny side effects when you put numbers in any of those input fields here and you scroll, then it was actually scrolling the number, so it was increasing and decreasing the number in this input field. We have fixed that. Whenever you scroll, it just takes out the focus of this input field. And the task names, which can be changed now. And a lot of other small things. I don't even remember all the small, tiny details, but we did a lot. Cool. So, what do you think about the release, and do you have any questions? Yeah, I think with the new release, so Johnny just wrote, also looking forward to in testing it. I think it's really where we had to go with the current market conditions. Since I think, since NFT sales are dropping for a lot of collections, you need to be able to manage your risk. So I think most important is really you can now filter and configure your tasks in a way if you want to be risk on or risk off, and also take into consideration the price. So I want to bid on the very valuable tokens, maybe a little bit above floor price, and you will instantly outbid everyone else. And since we are doing token bidding, also, people who are using collection or trade offers, they will not notice your bids because you're not using collection or trade bids, you're using token bids. So they will not be taken into consideration when someone else is bidding. So I got a lot of success the last few days, and I saw myself sometimes fearful when I saw, okay, a bid was accepted. Is it something good? And if no, I need to make sure to get rid of the asset as soon as possible. You can now manage all this with the dynamic filter tasks. Just, you can sleep well if you just target half of the collection, but if a bid gets accepted next morning, you will be able to sell it, quickly. You see what I do here, right? So when we have a look, I target like half of the collection by trade floor price in ETH. And I go like still below floor. So I'm still 12 to 10% below floor. And this is actually outbidding in like 80% of the assets, the others. So if anyone wants to sell his valuable asset, he's gonna sell it to me, and I can easily make a profit here, so floor price is like at 0.3 ETH, but I can sell most of those for 0.4 or 0.5 or at least. Yes, below floor still works. So Johnny just asked, below floor still works? I'm bidding over floor. Aren't the collective offers messing that up? No. So also very important. So let's have a look at the configuration here. So the min bid price relative to floor and max bid price relative to floor is still working the same. So here I'm bidding 12% below floor to 10% below floor price. with a little hack, you can also configure it above floor. So you can say, okay, I want to be 5% above floor price up to a maximum of 10% below above floor price. I think we should improve this UI here as well. So I think in the future we should go with, minus 10 means below floor 10%, and plus 10 means above floor price. But this is not yet implemented, so don't get confused on this. But I think that's where we should go, because it's very confusing, the negative numbers here. And also, we are still lacking the information of collection bids when outbidding. So we will only see if there are current token bids active on each asset. We are trying to get this features implemented by OpenSea as soon as possible, but we are a small fish. We cannot we cannot pressure them. So we just have to sit and wait until those features come out. It will actually make the outbidding feature way more valuable if you have collection offers also retrievable in the OpenSea API. But right now I have a pretty good success rate just by defining my strategy. I don't care too much what others are doing. I really define, okay, what assets do I feel comfortable for what price, and this is my strategy. I will get bids accepted and I will flip them for my profit spend where I feel comfortable.
Have you sometimes noticed that people were accepting your bids even though there were higher collection bids around?
I've seen that, yes, a few weeks ago. Sometimes I was also wondering if they just clicked too quickly or if they liked the name NFT Butler. I had no idea why they did it. But these days, I usually end up being the highest bidder. Because I go very close to the floor since I'm managing my risk with the assets I target. So like for 80% of all these, I'm well above floor. 1 second, let's have a look.
I think that's an important step that you just shown. That's also something that I do currently after the bids, like check the logs and compare how many of them failed, because failed might mean that the bid was skipped because I wasn't the highest bidder. So I get a good feeling how.
I don't use this option, to be honest.
Okay.
But yes, you can use it. You get a good feeling, but still, this feeling is only token bids, right? So what you see here is only current token bidding data. I don't care too much about this option because I know, bids are going to expire. This is just what I feel comfortable. At some point, I'm going to be the highest. But what I check is, my offer price, 12% below floor, is 0.264 ETH, and the current highest collection offer is 0.26. So I'm for sure outbidding all the collection offers with my token bids. Just a very little, but I'm going to be higher than all the collection offers. And for all those here, I'm the highest for sure, right? Because I'm higher than the collection offers. There is no token bid. Here we have one which is a little bit higher. But yeah, I'm ending up here on top for each of those. What's your average profit percent per accepted bid? It depends. So, these filters are not perfect. Sometimes, and it's different in every collection. It's really, it depends a little bit how you wear the collection. And the better you know the collection, the more accurate you can basically define those filter criteria, or maybe even filter by trade, because you know which trades are the ones who are selling the best. I have this knowledge just about the Ed and Bomb Squad collection because I'm bidding on those since half a year. And I think I cannot tell it in percentage, but sometimes, let's have a look at the success channel quickly. Here. So sometimes I get, floor here was maybe 0.2. And I sold it for 0.25 because I know, okay, I checked the trades and I saw, okay, this is really valuable. So this is going to sell easily above. And then I had this bookie, which also has a very rare trait, I think, like the hair, but no one cares about the hair. So I had to go back with I had to go back to nearly floor price, and then it will sell rather quickly, but there is not much profit left if you subtract the royalties. So my current strategy is still bidding below floor, but close to the floor price. It's different for every collection. Sometimes I go, it also depends on the royalties. So I know if a bid gets accepted, even though I know it will have at least one rare trait, maybe it's just a background color, and then I will sell it at floor price and I will still sell it quicker than others because at least it has a rare trait, and I will not make any profit. And sometimes you're lucky and you get this one I sold like within hours. I could have made more profit on this one.
Sorry, Benny, are you showing the right screen?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, then maybe it's for me.
Maybe.
Frozen. I see the NFT Butler.
You cannot see the
Yeah,
Discord?
they're also seeing Butler.
Okay, sorry. Now?
Do
You're
you
seeing
see the Butler? I guess you do window sharing.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm doing window sharing. Okay, so in the success channel, there are stories about assets from me being sold at, no profit level. And then there are some, like 2 or 3 I got in the last week or two, which are sold with a profit of like 0.2 ETH or even more. And I'm also holding another one which I can sell, for decent profit, because it's a very rare trade. And I was just lucky because, someone wanted to sell it and I was the highest bidder at the time. So it's really risk management. It's not a guaranteed profit margin, but you're more likely to get rare NFTs when using those dynamic filters. And it depends on your filter and your bidding price, of course. And if you maybe get one of the not so rares within your filter, then just sell it around floor price level. You will sell them quickly. Or yeah, I mean, no financial advice, right? And no guarantee, of course. And it depends heavily on the collection. So I'm trying a few collections here. I didn't try all of them. Maybe also let me show something I wanted to show before. Punks. So there are a few collections like Punk Comics. They use one collections lock, but a lot of different smart contract addresses. And if you look at the collection has a very, very bad floor price. But actually, their trade are basically sub-collections within their collection. And you have this smart contract filter here. So let's find the valuable ones. And it's very hard to find those on OpenSea because they are all mixed up. So here, for example, we have this is basically one type of comic. It only has 37 items, but the floor price is like 2 ETH. So it's very hard to find those and bid on those on OpenSea, but you can filter them here. And the reason why we have to put this smart contract drop down here, so you can only create a multi-trade task within the same contract. This has to do how our tasks work, how the bidding task is integrated in NFT Butler, but the contract needs to be the same per task at this point, at least. 8 items. There should be one sub collection somewhere. Is it this one here? 37 items. Okay, I need to check. There is something wrong with this item supply, because here we have like 3,000 items for sure. I need to check this. Because yesterday I saw the item supply was not always up to date, so I changed something in our background process to make it up to date, but I need to double check this again. So very important, always before starting a task and putting all those filters in, always show the token selection. This is actually the exactly same query as it will run when starting the task. So this is really 100% accurate to what you will actually bid on when starting the task. Labior, maybe I missed it, but are we able to set a percent bid value based on trade floor price? No, not at this point. At this point, we do only feature the collection floor price. So whenever you create a task, if you're bidding relative to the floor price, it's always the collection floor price. It would also make things complicated when you think about tasks with, where do I have it? Here, I have 41 trades selected in this task. So what floor price? Yeah, the floor price. Yeah, we could retrieve it on every token ID, but this would require a lot of changes. Yeah, it would be nice, right? Then you can actually just create one task on all the trades, define a general strategy, and just run it on all of them. But I think that, to be honest,
Rings the bell.
Yeah, rings the bell, right? But I think the trade floor price is a very dangerous value. It can change within days from 0.4 to 2 ETH, and it's not reliable at all. I mean, on some trades there is so little sales happening. It's really dangerous, and it can be manipulated so quickly if someone owns a lot of tokens of this trade and just manipulates just none is listed, and I list mine to 10 ETH and receive your bid for 8 ETH. Awesome. And yes, the UI stuff is also, this is really what's killing me to make all this stuff look pretty. Awesome.
It's only pretty, it's wonderful, Benny. It's wonderful.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Anyone else with questions? I spoke a lot today. I'm sorry, I hope you're still awake. We are missing Dolphy. Huh? Dolphy, saw him joining, but he already left, so.
Then maybe I quickly use the stage here. I just want to thank you guys for supporting us such a long time already. If other trader groups that might be interested in, doing collaborations, please hit me up. We have to do a new wave of collabs, bringing fresh people into our server, even now in the bear market. So please hit me up so we can keep growing even now when things are a little bit dry. But we want to keep working here.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Dave. Would be a pity, right? This is awesome, and we want to bring this project forward. So we are now pushing sales and our collabs to show the world what we have built here, right? Great, welcome back, Q Dave. Great to see you joining again. Yeah, lifetime sales are a problem when they stop coming in. Yes, exactly. Yeah, Johnny, so Johnny says, yeah, lifetime sales are a problem when stopping coming in. Yes, and we are still committed to not sell more than 300 licenses this year, which will bring, enough funds for the team to keep working on it. And you also wrote you should maybe start adding some subs, and yes, that's also something we are thinking about it. But first we need to bring the message to the world, what we have built here.
Nice one, Johnny. While they keep your lifetime licenses, obviously. Not cutting yourself here. Yeah. I see
Awesome.
some nice ideas here, and it's also what we are discussing.
Exactly.
Yeah, what's up, brother? You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Muhammadi.
Yeah, how you doing, brother? You good?
All good. Thanks.
Yeah, great. So, you were talking about the your biddings, right? That you might like a little bit below the floor, but still like higher than the collection offers, something like this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so like, can you tell me like how do you what filters do you use? Do you use like trade filters, or you use like based on the rankings or something? So like, I'm interested like in your way of doing it.
Yeah, sure. So at this point, I like the buy min trade floor price filter the most. Because if you target trades which are traded a lot, the min trade floor price is gonna match market offer and demand curve. So I think this is the easiest to basically manage your risk. And I usually pick something between 2 to 4 times the current floor price as a safe indicator. And I also try to target about a third to half of the collection, because that's usually where you can sell those tokens quickly. Sometimes I also use the rarity score, because it's a very simple indicator of the rarity of each token, and it does not only take one trade or the best trade into consideration, but it takes all trades into consideration. And sometimes I also combine it with the last sales price. I think this one here is also a good one. I mean, listing is, you can now create a looping task which will just bid on all tokens listed. But to basically filter for the rare ones, I think this is not very useful. But the rarity score, sales price, also combined with holding days, and the trade floor price. That's what I use at this point. And we can extend this, of course, right? So if you have new ideas, just post them in our suggestions channel and we will consider them, of course.
So like when you use, let's say, okay, first of all, can you show me the like how you use like the traits, how you like choose them? Because you said that you can like choose multiple traits, right? At the same time, something like this.
Exactly. So for Adam Bomb Squad, I know the character is a very important trait. Sorry, I misspelled it. Okay,
But
character.
just maybe to make one point clear, you are not picking your traits for your strategies, right? You only go by price. You just say,
yeah, I do both. So I usually go really on the whole collection and then by trade floor price. Like this one here, we just had a look on, but I also have one task which I selected 41 trades.
okay, you do both.
So here I really went for the characters. I know basically the character defines the look of the bomb itself, right? Is it a paper sack or is it fitted? I don't know what fitted. Maybe the cap or a baseball card, Adam. So this trait defines the look of the NFT, and I think for every collection there is like one major trait who defines the base picture, right? I think that's the most important trait because it will make a huge difference how the whole NFT looks in the end. For some collections it's maybe the shirt or something else. So here what I basically did is really I went on the traits of Atom Bomb Squad. You can also search here for the name or the value. So you can search for this or for this. So we can search for character here. And I really went through, it's like, I don't know, 70 characters. I went through all of them who look at least a little bit nice. Then I quickly check, okay, what were the last sales? So here I wouldn't feel comfortable because there were some sales very, very low. So I would just click through all of them. Not very comfortable here, but this one for sure, right? I mean, this looks like, okay, it's not very, very comfortable as well. Strawberries, I think, are pretty high. Yeah, so I see, okay, all strawberries were sold like around 1 ETH. So let's use this one. Yeah, here maybe, sometimes someone sells a token just below its value. So sometimes you will also see like someone just misestimated the price. Okay, not this one. This one is very valuable. Those madams for sure are not very. But there's other madams which are valuable. Not this one. Okay, paper sock. I sold. I think that was me here. So I was so jealous when I saw yesterday, someone sold it for 0.4 because I know you can sell those for 0.75. So I would pick this one. Not this one, but this one looks very special. Yeah, maybe not. So I will go through all the important trades. So this one is valuable. So I picked 41 while going through those. Picked this one for sure, yes. And then you created a task on top of it. And I didn't put any more filters here because I know, like I already picked the very valuable trades. Now I have 500 selected, and I will go straight to create my bidding strategy here. So I didn't use a lot of filters when already selecting the trades. But I'm very curious what you guys find out. Sorry, yeah.
Then you went to floor price or even higher for these.
On this one I went even higher because I knew okay on this task here, yeah, so 5% above floor up to 10% above floor, and I really selected 41 trades which are they do all have a floor price above 1 ETH, and I checked the sales history. So I assuming if I get a bid accepted on any one of these, I can at least sell it for 0.5 to 0.7 quickly because it's still very much below what the real value of those. Okay, awesome. Bona also wrote, would love to also be able to see the lowest 5 currently listings for a specific trade. I think that's just as important than seeing the last sales for a trade. Yes, you're absolutely right, Bona. I thought about the same, just didn't fit into the time window. Night was over before this feature was implemented, but this totally a top priority. I think we should see sales and the 5 lowest listings to get a good picture of a trade box. Totally agree. Awesome. People are going to sleep and leaving, so thank you very much. Dave, do you have any closing words for this AMA today?
No, but thank you so much, Benny. I was waiting for this release a lot, and so excited to get my hands on, especially now deep diving into all the trades, and some strategies in mind. Give them a week, and let's see how successful I am. Let's see us in the success channel.
Yes, awesome, Dave. So let's end this AMA session, and I will hit the button to deploy the release to everyone so everyone can get started with it. Thank you so much, guys, for joining, and see you soon.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.